Thank you for joining us right here on KBC Channel 1. My name is Ronald Owili here at the Expo 2020 Dubai, where Kenya has been putting on quite a formidable show in terms of products and investment opportunities available. I'm now joined by the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Wilfred Marube, to tell us what this showpiece means for Kenya. Daktari, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Expo 2020 is finally here, at least 1 year delay. What does that mean for Kenya?
As you are well aware, Expo 2020 Dubai is the initial, let's say the first international global opportunity in terms of exhibitions, in terms of international trade engagements, in terms of investment discussions, and also in terms of sharing tourist destination information. So we would say that it's the first global event that the entire world is participating in within the COVID period. And we are glad that Kenya is part and parcel of that discussion, especially in those three areas. That is in trade, investment, and tourism. And there are various opportunities within this expo that Kenya projects herself so that we positively position the country as a source of high quality products, as a destination of investments, and as also as an attractive tourist destination. So what we have at the expo is that there are very many activities. We have the Kenya Pavilion, whereby we're getting an average of about 2,500 people per day as we speak today. And in this area, we are showcasing Kenya's potential from the primary agricultural products like tea, coffee, flowers, fresh produce, and nuts. And then move to the area where we showcase Kenya's innovations, especially within the area of ICT, and how Kenya as a country has used innovations to solve either social, economic, and any other problems. Then we have the area we showcase our manufacturing prowess, and an area of also as Kenya as a source of clean energy, which is able to drive the manufacturing agenda and the Big Four agenda, and of course Kenya as a logistics hub. And then eventually we have an opportunity to showcase our tourist destination, and we even have a virtual reality. So one can be able to take a virtual safari just by wearing some goggles, which are within the pavilion. And then lastly, now the cultural part, whereby we showcase Kenyan people. That there's unity in diversity among the 44 tribes. And then at the end of the day, somebody has an opportunity of getting a Kenyan name, and then also getting a Kenyan passport. And after that, then there's a cup of coffee or tea, and then our visitors leave the pavilion.
What is the number one lesson you'd say we've learned here?
I would say not a lesson, but let me say that basically we have been reminded that there are various opportunities, that Kenya has immense opportunity to become the lead supplier to the Gulf region. By flight, products from Kenya are about 4.5 hours away. And this particular region is a net importer of food, and Kenya is a net producer of agricultural food. So it's a question of us growing the right food, the right products, making sure they meet the necessary standards because they are high quality, then gets access to the market. And I do believe that is basically the realization that this particular expo has indicated, that the Gulf region basically is our nearest markets, and we need to take full advantage of the same. And again, the other thing that we also realize that you cannot over-rely just on primary products. We need to add value to them in line with our Big Four agenda, so that they're going to go through a manufacturing process, so that we just don't strive to, let's say, basically export. Basically, we try to create niche products from our agricultural produce. I do believe that's the conversation that as a country, which we should be able to progress forward, because also that is in line with our national integrated export market development strategy, that we need to get into value addition, yes, so that we just don't export primary products.
But Dr. Marube, there's an issue that arose here. You're looking at the trade imbalance between Kenya and the GCC countries. It's in excess of 100 billion shillings. How do you bridge that deficit?
Yes, I would say we'll bridge it by basically taking advantage of the opportunity. Because right now we only be able to, looking at the net demand, Kenya meets about only 0.1% of what this region consumes, and yet so you have a production of about 99.9% on what we can bring here. So what we need to do, number one, is provide information to the Kenyan producers, create market linkages. That is, let's get to what I would call the exporters to get to appreciate the markets and also meet the potential buyers, regulators, so that we're able to meet the standards. And then, of course, then we also stimulate production of the same. So I do believe this is an opportunity that is immense. It shows that you can be able to bridge the gap if we focus on exporting products to this region, which are agricultural-based products, and which basically Kenya has a competitive advantage over. So I see a huge opportunity, and especially after the Expo, I see that gap narrowing down quite tremendously. Because as part of our ambition, it might look small, but part of the immediate gains that we thought we would achieve after participating in Expo 2020 Dubai was within almost immediately after the Expo, in terms of immediate gains, basically to be able to have trade deals worth 1 billion shillings, and also investments worth amount that money, and also tourism visits worth amount that money. But in the medium term and long term, we're targeting that we'd want to see a growth up to about 7.5 to 7%, because we move away from 0.1% to about 5-7%, then you can see we'll be able to bridge that particular gap that is there. But we must take advantage of what we are good at, and we are good at agricultural products, because tea is our competitive product, coffee, fresh produce, nuts, but again, even talking about human resource, because and service sector, which is also bearing in mind that Dubai, especially the Gulf region, also is quite heavy on service and other areas. So there is a huge opportunity, and right now it's a question of us moving beyond the Expo and aligning ourselves and coming up with an action plan, so that now we're able now to engage now on a much more structured way, especially with the marketplace. That is either at a bilateral level between governments and also at a business level between the different business entities that have been involved here. But from the indications we've had so far, without actually mentioning names, I would say that already there are very positive vibes coming out of this engagement, especially the high-level business forum, whereby already you can see initial conversations about either in areas of investment or in areas of products. So I'm very optimistic that this particular expo will actually help us penetrate the Gulf region, so that we're able to grow our export products from just a mere 0.1% of the potential to even about 5%, but eventually to even about 25%. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And one of the key issues that featured also is the question of transshipment. Logistics, it seems, is a problem in the value chain. Our roses, for instance, we are the biggest producers of cut flowers. It goes to Europe, then from Europe, it comes here. Yes. How do you wrestle such power from that?
I wouldn't say it's at the point of power. I would say that we're talking about the issue of, number one is the issue of demand and supply. Then the other issue is about what the players in the industry. Because you see, you have the flowers, you have the exporters, then you have the importers. Then the bigger question is, how do we stimulate conversations and discussions so that we have large importers within the Gulf region? Because the moment you have importers and then you have people who are willing to sell, then the logistics will take care of itself. So I do believe that's also a conversation, especially with players in the logistics and the airline sector, would want to have a discussion about, because all of them are players, and I do think it's up to them to take advantage of this huge opportunity which has been showcased, especially by us donating the 250,000 flowers, yes, to this particular region. Yes.
And what about value addition? Because it seems also that is where there has been, we have not done much in terms of value addition. Looking at this market, the consumers stop end. The question of value addition also featured in that GCC high-level business forum meeting. So what is Keproba doing to ensure that our products are value added and they are competitive at the world stage?
Yes. I would say that as an agency, that Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, our role is to provide information. Our role is to support enterprises, especially the small medium, so that they're able to come up with products that meet international standards. So I would say that is something that we keep on encouraging, and also disseminating the same information and working with other stakeholders involved in the entire value chain. Because we have regulators because when it comes to food, they are basically regulators have a bigger role to play. But for us, our job is to provide the information, to make sure that we advocate for the same, to ensure that the conversation is alive every day, and remind everybody else that when you get into value addition, number one is that you're able to increase your market presence. You don't just rely on the larger marketplace or wholesale place whereby you have a bulk buyer, but you can be able to get into the retail business. You are able to brand your products. You are able even to even send your products to new markets because they are more durable, they are more branded, and and sometimes they're even more segmented to whichever market you would say. So value addition, and I would say that this is something that EBOD has taken up. If you look at what is happening currently, because we have Kenyan companies that are actually exporting avocado oil. So the question is, if you're looking at avocado oil and then look at vegetables, and we've also seen companies that are basically drying the vegetables and mixing them up, and then blending them, of course, and then the variety of vegetables, and then they export them. But then the question is, how do you bring that to a larger scale, and how do you encourage more people, especially the youth? Because youth have an opportunity, they have access to technology, they're able to use the digital space to market their products. Then why can't they get in that space? And as an agency, that's what we're really focusing on. It's part of our strategy in terms of diversification of our products. So I do believe that, but again, we can't do it alone. As an agency, as I told you, we are a facilitator. We don't produce any products. Our job is to provide information, to provide market access, to help promote and maybe brand the products, and then work with the players. And we are very keen at doing that. And I won't just let people know that that's an area that really calls for investment, even for an entrepreneur. Just identify any product that you have, then ask yourself, what else can be gotten from this product, apart from the immediate visible gain that people are seeing?
Right.
Yes.
And then what does this mean for small and medium enterprises, which are the largest employers in Kenya? What does this mean for them, especially those in the agriculture sector, perhaps?
I think it means for them, number one, there's a market. And for any entrepreneur, and small and medium enterprise entrepreneurs, there is a market for that. And number two, you don't have to own a huge farm for you to be able to export, that you can be able to consolidate. And then the other part is that as an agency, that is Kenya Export Promotion Branding Agency, we exist and we are available to help facilitate them, to help them appreciate that this is what you require for you to be able to export these products to this particular market. These are the particular products which are doing very well in this market, which are facing premium information gap. Yeah. So that's what we as an agency provide for that. And we are keen on that because at the moment we are working, and I know that we cannot move away from the digital space. We are working on what we call the Exporters Portal. So Exporters Portal will be basically a digital space where we provide all the information in real time and even enable the buyer and the sellers to meet. So that's something we're working on currently as a project, and I do believe with that, information will even be more readily available. But even without that, if one checks on our website, they'll be able to get information. If they come to the second floor, that is at Anniversary Towers, we have a trade advisory services where we have a team who can be able to advise, not just give you information, but also indicate to you that for you to be able to do this, there is this other regulator or this agency who needs to provide you a license. Right. So we do that, but as you said, we are going to be more aggressive out of this because we know that there are huge opportunities existing, especially after this expo, and ensure that most importantly, information, because information is what actually will spur any other action, so that people are aware. Number two, then people, not just about being aware, then they also start engaging in the right practices, of course, working with other agencies. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, you play at the national level, perhaps. What do you have for the devolved units? There are 47. If you merge them together, perhaps the value could increase, tenfolds or 20folds. What do you have for the counties?
Yes. So far, for us, we're looking at the country as a whole. But again, we are very aware that at another level, if you look at the country, you divide it into 47. And again, if you look at the county at a lower level, again, you divide it into constituencies. And then from there, you look at into wards. So we've begun from that global level. And already we are engaging at the county level. We are at particular counties, especially we have outreach programs through what we call, one of the outreach program is a product development cycle, whereby we request enterprises who are interested in I would say, in having their products access the export market to apply to us. And they do that on a regular basis. Like this particular financial year, I'm aware we've worked with enterprises at the coast, that is Mombasa. I know we worked in Bungoma, Nakuru, Kisumu, then Thika, and of course Nairobi and many other areas. And through that's the outreach program. But again, I know as an agency, again, we challenge ourselves and we're asking ourselves the question, how do we get basically counties get interested that as part of their orientation, there is an export orientation, so that as a county X can say, for us, we want to be known as an exporter of XYZ, so that we support small and medium enterprises. So that's a conversation again, and an activity and a program that we are rolling out, but we do believe that it will be able to gain momentum and have many more counties defined by what they're able to export.
So I know when you came here, you had probably you had a target in terms of perhaps value of products you want to secure investment. Where are we currently as the expo comes to an end next month?
Okay. Yes. The good thing about the expo is that expo is an interaction. It's an interaction between investors, number one, and other partners on the other side. So as we speak right now, there are various conversations taking place, and these conversations take time, as I indicated much earlier. And even in terms of buying, I indicated that for the small and medium enterprises, they're more interested in getting money into their pocket immediately. And those ones they're already selling and the transactions going on. I've indicated to you that already there are sales going on, and we'll be able to compute that information hopefully by the time these small and medium enterprises are finalized. But again, for the big players, and that is the suppliers for the big products, it takes time for negotiations. Already right now, there are indications that on some products, basically, there's growing interest for some products. And I told you that immediately for us, in our view, and when we had planned for this particular expo, our immediate focus was to target immediate sales or business deals up to 1 billion shillings. That was immediate. But in the long term, that is after Expo, and usually after Expo, it takes, usually you start seeing immediate returns between 6 months to 1 year because of the long transactions, discussions, deliberations, decision making, contracts, then before orders are given or before an investment come into play. Then at that point, you are targeting up to 2.5 billion shillings. Yes, sorry, $2.5 billion. So that's what you are targeting, that at this Expo, the kind of effect we are looking for, which may basically be realized within a year, within 6 months, or within 1.5 years. Yes, but basically that's what we're looking at. And as I told you, there's a lot of growing interest. Because we had a high-level business forum, which was well attended. And right now, I know there are discussions taking place, and we shall be making follow-up. And I'm sure at the opportune time, the public announcement will be made on some of these deals that have been stuck.
And finally, as we end this interview, the city is going to be here perhaps for a long time. The Kenyan pavilion is here. Are you confident that investors are going to make it Kenya?
Yes, we are confident. Already, as I told you, that we had a very successful high-level business forum. And of course, the investors indicated, number one, they are going to make it Kenya. They have enjoyed part of the Kenyan love through the flowers we have shared. They have seen the opportunities available in the various sectors. And already we can see their discussions taking place. And as I told you, that we're not just focusing at Dubai and the Expo 2020. For us, this was an opportunity for us to showcase ourselves to the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. So basically, the Gulf region is what we are looking at. And we do believe now it's now time now to move away from this global or this higher level of Expo to now marketplace activities, engagements, business forums, B2B meetings, which we want to make a regular so that we do not lose the momentum of our presence in the market. So we are going to stay in this market, not just Dubai, but the GCC market.